I've invited Erik Bindslev here, who's going to share a little bit more about how the world's largest institutions are thinking about this. And I will say that Erik has a special knack for taking the global and saying, how does that resonate with us in this world, and how are we going to activate upon that? So please welcome Erik Bindslev.
Whoa. Am I the only one just needing to breathe? We live in crazy, crazy, crazy times, unprecedented times. On my way here, I was watching a woman walk her golden retriever, and the golden retriever was so happy jumping up and down on the bridge, and I just want to get into that flow. Sarah asked me to say a few words here today, and it was kind of a very courageous thing of Sarah to do, because she's heard my rants about what's wrong and what needs to be adjusted and the rest of it. I've been on quite a bit of a journey. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been trying to build businesses and have been building businesses for the good part of 24 years. I've been advising organic food companies, organic brands, all in the front end of the food system. Realizing 6 years ago that I'm not changing anything by talking to consumers. I have to change the fundamentals, how we produce food and fiber. And for that, I had to go into the tangible world of finance. So I've been a tourist in the finance industry for the past 6 years, and I think I've got it. It's not that hard. I've listened a lot. I've asked a lot of questions, like an eager child. And I've come out the other end. And I think 2026, with everything happening, literally collapsing in front of our eyes, I'm ready to build something. It comes from an insight which is terrifying. And a disclaimer here, I went to the European Parliament last night, and I saw hope in a 25-year-old Green Party MEP, Colina Schilling, who tabled the climate target for 2040 and got it through. For policy, by the way, I don't have patience for policy. I'm super impatient. But what we are looking into, and it's terrifying because I've been listening to Johan Rockström maybe a dozen times every year at Davos and other sessions, and many of you have done that. And every time you say, well, we've broken another planetary boundary, and that's irreversible. We're looking into 3 degrees now, not 1.5 or 2, which I think last year he said that is not survivable for mankind. So it's pretty dystopian. If we look at our sector, the regenerative ag sector, which is by far the biggest contributor to biodiversity loss. So let's stop all the bullshit about the built environment and no. We change the way we produce food, we save nature. Nature is our biggest tool in the toolbox to combat climate change, the volatility that will affect everything that we hold dear. In September, I was co-hosting an event in Frankfurt for a lot of asset owners, which is a whole new other planet for me. Pension funds, insurance companies, sovereign wealth funds, huge capital allocations that take care of all our money, the future. And the numbers are dire because 70%, 75% in fact, of corporate loans are completely dependent on nature services. 60% of loan alone is prone to flood risk. And 87% of the total loan volume is held by only 100 organizations in Europe. So if you have shares in Nestle or Unilever or Procter & Gamble or any other monolith, be very afraid of the value that represents. The top CEO of KPMG Global last year at Davos, his ex-CEO, sat down and said, we've done the numbers of nature risk for the CPG companies. I can tell you categorically not a single one is solvent if nature was on the balance sheet. What does this mean? It means that we're probably looking into the biggest repricing, revaluation event in financial history. This comes at a time where we have a perfect storm of geopolitical uncertainty, volatility, and in an age where AI is getting rid of jobs faster than the HR department can sign the checks off. It's tough. The demand for food, fiber, protein, and materials is rising. I've been in an early career in the commodity trade, and I'm telling you, the commodity volatility right now on global supply chains that comes from agriculture is dire. If you are somebody who are relying on an endless conveyor belt of cheap inputs, it's not as sure anymore. And next year, less so. And the year after, who knows? So to create resilience, to create this core asset protection, if you have to use financial terms, is super important. We're sitting in this room, what are we here? 100, 150 people. We are in the vanguard. Not just what is right, but what is smart. Let's cut away all the bullshit. Commercial returns, it's not mature yet. The volume is not big. Pension funds can't reallocate 500 million towards regeneration because it doesn't make sense. Well, guess what, Sherlock? If that repricing happens, and it will happen within the next 5 years, or so says the scientist, it means that everything is gone. Everything. Our pensions, our ability to feed ourselves, sustain our lives, to survive. And what about democracy? ... What are we going to do? What are politicians going to do? Issue another food check? From what? Tax money. So, my call to you today is that we need to have a reallocation of assets. We all have assets. We all have the ability to reallocate. If you are a big pension fund, you can look at your portfolio of 600 or 1 trillion euros and begin to dissect where do I stop pushing the accelerator on degeneration, and you can start with agriculture and oil and gas. And what are the alternatives? And you know the alternatives are not built yet. People in this room are building those alternatives, and we need to scale up fast, very fast. That's one. If you're a small, tiny person like me, or you have moderately high rates of wealth, don't trust your wealth manager to allocate your portfolio to the right thing. Ask him or her, where is my money sleeping tonight, and who is it sleeping with? And you can start with the part of the portfolio that is accelerating the destruction of nature. Chemical agriculture, commodity-based businesses, technologies that enable commodity streams to happen, deforestation-rich portfolios, etc. You can start there. And the likelihood is that most of them have no idea what's in your portfolio. That was a little dystopian. I'm an optimistic. I'm that golden retriever, remember? But we have a coalition here. It's a tiny one, but it's growing. We have practitioners. We heard from SLM yesterday, and I'm part of a similar initiative here in Europe, a real asset game where we buy farmland and operate and turn it into regenerative farming operations. We do that, yes, to deliver money to our LPs, but we also do it because we actually fundamentally believe that something needs to change at scale fast. And we're getting institutional capital to do that. I'm also trying to play the carbon market, and for 4 years I've been part of Savory Foundation's ability to scale up huge grassland projects. It is soil organic carbon, it's not going to get us there in time. So let's figure out how to do this faster, and I think the biggest single thing anybody can do is begin to really look at themselves, their portfolios, and also begin to allocate bigger shares of their portfolios into regeneration and into initiatives like SLM and regenerative asset management and others that are out there trying to do the right thing. And then we have a big lever apropos the European Parliament. We have a subsidy system that is utter perverse. It's delivering calories to European consumers who are getting sicker and fatter for every harvest. And we're using the taxpayers' money to make that happen. I mean, how smart is that? But let's not kid ourselves. We're up against a lobby that is very strong, very oil, and it's been going for years. Like the oil and gas lobby, the chemical agricultural lobby is very strong. An estimate is telling us that we're spending up to 200, 300 million euros a year at oiling politicians at local, regional, and European level. That is insane. And nobody in this room can master that amount of lobbying money or the skills and talents to get it better. So we're up against a big system. So if you ever have any political contacts, support them. Because the CAP 27, which is now postponed for 1 year, is going to be a CAP 28, is going to determine how capital flows in the subsidy system to Europe's agricultural system. And if we don't get that cap turned around, we are so fucked. Kidding ourselves. It's a third of Europe's budget, one of the biggest public capital allocations in the entire world. And most of us here are paying taxes that enable that to happen. That needs to stop for all of our sakes. So, there are no durable profitability in eroding the productive base that deliver all the returns across all asset classes in all portfolios. So why are we insisting on doing it? Let's not do it, for a start. I believe that the institutions and the people and the high net worth and other people who got their portfolio that allocates to regeneration now are going to be the ones standing in 5 years when the repricing moments have happened, layered on with AI and eroding tax bases and the rest of it. There are big questions coming ahead, but I think supporting nature and creating resilience, biological resilience into portfolios is what happens, because resilience is not technological. Resilience is biological. And the first time in our generation, or in human generation, we're seeing the convergence of the biological system and the financial system. Those two have been separated, but now they're coming together, and not in a beautiful way. Because in the end, resilience is not a slogan, it's the conditions for life, it's the conditions for our survival. We have everything at our disposal, we know everything, we have the technology, we have the innovation, we have the knowledge and the science. Let's get to work. Thank you.